Hello, everyone. It's Linda in Belize. Today, I'm going to get back into real estate and talk about why you might want to consider a rent to own. So, the first reason you might consider a rent to own is because you're self employed. And that might mean you purposely keep your income as low as possible, which makes it hard to get a mortgage. Also, banks often need 2 years of income history, and a rent to own can help you get the history you need. The second reason is that you might have a down payment shortage. So you might have some money saved up, but it's just not enough for that house you want. And what you can do is pay extra rent each month so that you can build up enough equity to meet the bank requirement. Now, depending where you're buying, it could be 5% like it is for many home buyers in Canada, whereas if you're self employed, often it's 10%. Another reason is that you might want to lock in the purchase price. So, with prices of real estate going up in many areas, it may be a great idea to lock in a purchase price early. Now, sometimes the price of the house is going to be higher than it is in a straight up sale because the price is guaranteed. The longer the rent to own contract, the more likely that is to be. So, the fourth reason you might want a rent to own is because you have a poor credit score. Now, as you occupy the property, you can rebuild your credit so that you can qualify for a mortgage later on. Now, it's best to talk to a banker in advance to make sure you will be able to qualify at the end of the term so you take the appropriate action. The other thing is that you want to disclose to your landlord any of these potential issues because as they check your credit, you want to make sure that they know exactly what is going on. Now let's talk about why a seller might want a rent to own. One reason is that they're in a fixed mortgage term and they'd have a penalty if they pay the mortgage off early. Another reason is that they do get a steady stream of income until the house ultimately sells. Now, if it's already a rental property, then that doesn't apply because you're already having a steady stream of income. But if it's a house that you were living in that you needed to sell, putting a tenant buyer in it will allow you to have cash flow and ultimately sell the house, which is your goal. So now let's get into my favorite part of the presentation, being that I'm an accountant, which is the Excel example. So our acreage available was previously listed for sale at $995, and the rent we're currently receiving is $4,000 a month plus utilities. So I'm going to show one way a rent to own could work, assuming a 5% down payment for the bank is required, and that the tenant buyer can qualify for a mortgage in 2 years' time. So now when we look at the Excel template, if we use a rounded price of $1 million with a 5% down payment, it gives us $50,000. If we do a 2-year term, that means we have 24 months to get up to that $50,000 amount. And as I mentioned already, the market rent is $4,000. And if we use an option fee of 2%, that gives us a $20,000 upfront payment for the rent to own contract. And option fees do range on rent to own contracts, usually between 2 and 5%. So in this particular example, with a $20,000 option fee, the down payment of $50,000 means we need an extra $30,000. And so if we split that $30,000 over the 24 months, it means we need an additional $1,250 a month. So if we take the total rent of $4,000 plus that $1,250, that gives us a rent amount of $5,250 a month plus utilities on a rent to own contract with these terms. Thanks for watching. If you're interested in learning more about rent to own, make sure you reach out because I do consulting calls. And in addition, if you're interested in the house in Edmonton for a rent to own, check out the video I did with more details on the house.